G'day mates! We have one of the biggest updates in Fortnite history coming out in less than 10 days. Tilted Towers back in the game, the mythic SMG, the new cave POI, the new dinosaurs showing up on the map. This is looking absolutely ridiculous. I want to go through all the details in today's video. Also, if maybe you're not enjoying Fortnite that much right now, you don't like the way the game's playing out, the SMGs are too strong, the ARs are too strong, the shotguns are too weak, you're wondering why Epic hasn't done anything to balance the new weapons since a few weeks ago, well, I have some inside information from the staff at Epic about what they're doing with the current chapter and why we haven't seen any weapon updates just yet. That's going to be at the end of today's video. Let's start off talking with the main point and probably the main reason you clicked on this video. What is happening with Tilted? When are we getting Tilted Towers? Well, HypeX tweeted out, which is one of the craziest tweets I've seen in a minute. The third snow stage goes live on the 10th in 3 days. Tilted Towers is on stage 6. So if it melts every 3 days, then we should get Tilted Towers, the IO, and their cave POI, butter cake, grenade launchers, and 19.10 on the 18th, which is Tilted Towers' birthday. Big content day. Now, I'm going to break down all those parts in a second because that is an insane tweet. Let's focus on Tilted Towers first. So if you don't know what's going on at the moment on the map, since Winterfest ended, we have it confirmed that the snow is now receding. We are losing the snow on the map. We have a video here proving exactly how much it's changed already between stage 1 and stage 2. Not a lot, but HypeX is predicting it's changing in 3-day increments. It's changing every 3 days, and we have this image of how the snow will eventually go away in every single stage. So we have HypeX pointing out that it's in stage 6 when the snow recedes past the middle of the map where Tilted Towers is and will expose Tilted Towers, and those ice cubes will be gone. So it looks like it's pretty well confirmed we're getting Tilted Towers on the 18th. If the snow slows down or speeds up, this could change things, but it makes sense that it come back on the 18th, which is Tilted Towers' birthday, like HypeX pointed out, which I think is a nice touch from Epic. I really like that. Also, we do know as well that I think it's week 7 or week 8 challenges. Tilted needs to be in the game for that because you have to get eliminations at Tilted. So we 100% know we're getting Tilted within the next few weeks, but we're getting it as early as in 10 days. And for you competitive fans, that's going to tie up with just after the second Duo Cash Cup. I believe second Duo Cash Cup is on the 17th. So that means if we're going to be getting Tilted coming back on the 18th, it'll be after the second Cash Cup. And then for the rest of the season, including FNCS, Tilted is going to be in the game. And as I talked about in yesterday's video, some pros already have this on lockdown. Miro and Acorn already claiming Tilted before it's even in the game. Let's break down the rest of this tweet. I'm going to get to the IO and their cave POI in a second, but I want to talk about Buttercake, which as you guys know in my videos and on my stream, this is Terry. This is not Buttercake. I am so excited for Terry to finally be in the game, and it looks like we got our first in-game footage of Terry to kind of get a sense of scale and what he's going to be like. It's from the Boba Fett little trailer they had. So Boba Fett flying away, and you see Terry jumping up and looking a bit hostile, and this answers one question. It looks like Terry is going to be hostile in some way. I don't know whether it's going to be if you shoot Terry or if you attack Terry, then he starts attacking you, or whether he's just hostile from the output. We also know that Terry is going to be dropping extra strong meat. As you guys know, when you kill the NPCs, you get meat, which heals you for, I believe, 15 per meat. You can stack up to 4 of them, so not that good, but it's decent in a pinch if you need some help. Well, apparently Terry is going to drop meat that is going to heal for 50 health, and that is really, really good. That is stronger than a flopper. So I also want to know if Terry is going to be in competitive, because I imagine if Terry goes rampaging and he starts breaking through your builds and charging you in endgame, that is going to be a nightmare. Could be kind of funny, but I have a feeling he won't go into competitive just based on how Epic is keeping a lot of this more crazy stuff out of competitive. Also, still raises the question, what's going on with Terry with a saddle? We've been talking about this saddle item for a very long time where you can ride an NPC, and a lot of us assume that if you're going to ride anything, it's going to be this giant 6-legged dude, but apparently maybe not if he's hostile. Maybe if you ride him, you can charge him with other people. All I know is I'm very, very excited for Terry to join the game because I think it's going to add a really, really cool element, even if it is just in pubs. We also have the grenade launcher coming back, which if that's in pubs, that's very, very cool. If it's in competitive, I will see how it goes. I'm not a huge fan of explosives in competitive, but I do know they add a fun element to the game, especially grenade launchers with cool little angles and little pivot tricks. So we'll be interesting to see how that plays out in competitive if it does join the game. And now the IO and their cave POI. This one is going to have big implications on the game. For a few reasons. First off, we're getting a new POI, and this is kind of like Grotto 2.0. We've already talked about that in videos before, and now we actually have the drill sites popping up around the map. If you haven't gone to them or paid attention to them, I'll be breaking them down a little bit in a second, but we have the IO appearing on the map, and this means we are potentially going to be getting our mythic SMG entering the game. So if you haven't gone to the POIs, this is what they look like at the moment. Now, I believe there's a few of these drill sites around the map. There's one over here near Logjam right now. I mean, they're pretty interesting as well. One of the things that scares me a lot is the fact that the IO guards here are dropping SMGs when you eliminate them, which pretty much confirms we are going to be getting the mythic Stinger SMG whenever these eventually fully open up and the next part of the storyline's continued. I mean, they're pretty decent drop spots. They're kind of interesting. You've got the IO chest. You have a few loot spawns. You got the 2 IO guards as well. You've got the launch pad. You also have this giant drill that you can't break. It's just indestructible. It's kind of like a lot of the storyline stuff that pops in the game like that. But again, I'll show you what I'm most scared about. The part that scares me the most is... wait for it. That is what scares me the most. The fact that we are going to be getting even more SMGs into the loot pool, and potentially we are going to be getting the mythic Stinger SMG at some kind of a boss at one of these locations. Whether it becomes like a Grotto 2.0, we have like a second Grotto that's this giant drill base, or it's just something low-key like this. I think very, very soon we will have a mythic Stinger SMG that does almost 300 DPS. 300 damage per second. When you think a full health, full shield target has 200 health and it does 300 damage per second, it's gonna be interesting. We're already getting huge mid-season map changes, so I'm super happy about that. Tilted Towers and these drill sites and the cave POI, that is phenomenal. We're already getting more map changes than we've got in entire seasons in the first like month of the new chapter, so that's awesome as well. I am still, again, a little bit concerned about the SMGs and the mythic SMGs and how that's playing into the game, but the next topic I wanted to talk about is one that I think a lot of people haven't been paying too much attention to. I mentioned in yesterday's video, everyone's asking what's happening with the balancing of the game. A lot of pros absolutely hating the current meta with the SMGs and the ARs, wondering why it's not fixed. They're making jokes about how Epic's just not paying attention. Everyone's freaking out. Everyone was expecting once Epic got back into office, we'd see an update and we'd have the meta changed a little bit. I've already talked about whether you like the SMGs or whether you don't. Fully understand that, why it's a bit of fun. It's a spray meta, it's interesting, but why the pros don't like it, because it is a very low skill ceiling meta right now. There are some teams that are still doing phenomenally well, like Centered and Cold, who I talked about yesterday, but ultimately it is a pretty unfun meta to play right now, just getting constantly sprayed, especially in competitive. Pubs, a little bit different. I get why people love sprinting around, doing a bunch of damage to the SMGs and ARs. That's fine, but competitively, things have to change a little bit. But why haven't they changed yet? What's going on? Well, it was actually a really good find that I DM'd HypeX about when I was talking about some of these leaks, and he made a really good observation, so shout out to him. He pointed out to me that one of the Epic staff members actually mentioned that he's not back at work until mid-January on the development team. So potentially we have a lot of Epic staff back in the office, but maybe it's just the development team that's not back yet, or maybe it's just some of their staff aren't back. I don't want to say this is concrete evidence that this is why we don't have an update and Epic's going to do something soon, but it does give a little bit of hope to people like yourself and maybe myself who do want a bit of a balance change when it comes to the new season before competitive kicks off. Just because we haven't had a balance change yet doesn't mean Epic won't do one, because potentially they're still out of the office. He mentioned, my lead made me promise I'd do this in our last one-on-one. Vacation starts now, be back mid-January, and it was delete Slack. If you guys don't know what Slack is, it's pretty much a communication app that a lot of big companies use. So basically he's saying that he's not paying attention to Fortnite or any issues going on right now. He's not paying attention if there's bugs, anything like that, which is fair. He's on a break, he's on holidays. That's what people do. I know some people have been frustrated that Epic took such a long break. I still think 2 to 3 weeks is pretty fair. I don't know about a lot of other countries. In Australia, that's pretty standard for a lot of companies to take that bigger break. I know it's frustrating. I make a living off playing this game as well. I'm finding it a bit frustrating at the moment trying to play with these SMGs and ARs, but I'm also not going to try and attack humans who are just trying to take a holiday off with their family. So let's hope maybe that's why we haven't had the big balance change we're waiting for, and let's hope we see something pretty soon before Cash Cup start up. I don't want anything crazy. I think this season is looking really, really good. Just toning back the SMG's fire rate and damage a little bit, maybe stop that bleed damage through walls so bullets don't keep going through walls. MK7, just dial back the damage a little bit, and I think we're looking pretty good. I think we're looking very good for this season. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed. Please chuck a like on the video. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on anything. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.